There he is. Check out.
This is great, guys. Thank you.
Do you like what I've done with the place?
It's great. Very, very 70s, 80s basement going on right here. This is good.
I love it. Like, I sort of dressed like the sofa today.
Oh my God, you blend in. Where are you? I don't see you.
Exactly. I'm just a head.
You're
I'm
using
a
your
floating
natural
head.
camouflage.
Yeah.
This is great.
I'm just a floating head. How are you doing? You do a lot of these conventions, Sam.
Yeah.
So, you know, does anything surprise you at all these days when you come to conventions and hear from fans?
Sometimes the guests surprise me. Like, I didn't know Don Bluth was going to be here. Like, that's incredible.
What's your favorite Don Bluth thing?
Well, Secret of Nim was amazing. Space Ace and Dragon's Lair was formative for me. Huge, huge. So getting to chat him up a little bit. And I work in animation as well, and we're all huge fans of his work. So I've never met the guy. I was like, oh my God, it's Don Bluth. Or Howard Scott Warsaw. Yar's Revenge was a huge, I played that so much when I was a kid.
Yeah, there's a lot of old school stuff. Made me feel really old looking at this.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
like, I remember that was the 80s or the 90s. Huh?
Those, that was when video games were made by one or two programmers just jamming away.
Yeah.
Just making something.
What was your first? My first thing was an Atari ST. Did you have an Atari?
Mine was 2600, Atari 2600.
Did that come before or after?
Before.
Oh, you're before. Okay, I'm younger than you then.
Yeah.
That's fine. Just not by much.
Everyone's younger than me these days.
Look, not by much, my friend.
Yeah.
Not by much. We're in the same range. I wanted to ask you, if you were at a convention now, or if you went to conventions back in the day, what kind of things would you be nerding out over?
All of it.
Yeah.
All of it. I never went to convention. I went to one Star Trek convention.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. Yeah. So that was fun. I was at a Star Trek convention, and I'm a huge Star Trek fan. Everyone, I guess, associates me with Star Wars, but I actually know Star Trek almost as well as I know Star Wars. I'm a big geek for that.
So what's your favorite Star Trek then? TNG or Deep Space?
Oh, God.
Nine,
So much of it. I like a lot of the new stuff. I like Strange New Worlds. But
really
the
good,
one that I
right?
got into first was, everyone, when you grew up, you were aware there was a Kirk and there was a Spock, but I didn't quite get it, and I was really into Star Wars. But then when I was a kid, my grandfather took me to see Star Trek IV, The Voyage Home. And that movie, as a kid, blew my mind simply because the characters were so fun. And I was like, whoa! So wait a second, there's a whole show about these guys? So then I went back and just watched the hell out of it, and God, I got so into it. And then I remember looking through a magazine one day, and there was this, I'm just a little kid, right? Little kid paging through magazines, looking at pictures, and I see this picture of this strange, very smooth, rounded out ship. And it's so clearly an Enterprise, but it's not. It's new. And I'm like, what is that? And it says, coming soon, Star Trek The Next Generation. And I'm like, that's beautiful. What is this? And so I watched Star Trek The Next Generation from the very first night that it aired all the way through. And then college, Deep Space Nine, got so into Deep Space Nine. Watched Voyager, all of it. Enterprise, I got to be in Enterprise for a little bit.
What? Someone's going,
for a second. I played a Xindi Arboreal in Enterprise when I was a new actor in Hollywood.
Did you genuinely, when you were on that set, were you like, oh my God, I'm on a Star Trek set?
To my memory, and it may not have been him, but I know that I met Terry Matalas, the showrunner of Picard Season 3. Yeah. He was an assistant back then, and I think he showed me around the Enterprise.
Oh, that's like so cool.
Yeah,
I feel like
I got a full tour. Here's the engine room. I'm like, it's the warp core. What the? So that was incredible. And little did I know years later that I'd have an opportunity to play Captain Kirk. I never thought that would happen.
That's very cool.
So I don't know if you guys are aware of that or not, because it's sort of a secret, but it's not. Do you know about this?
Nope. Tell us.
We made a short film under the Roddenberry Archive, executive produced by Rod Roddenberry and William Shatner and Susan Bay Nimoy, and it's an 8-minute adventure with Captain Kirk, and we used digital prosthetics to make me into different ages of Captain Kirk. So I got to play Captain Kirk under William Shatner's watchful eye.
What was that like?
Scary as hell. Because we worked on it. We worked for, a year on trying to perfect what our visual effects approach was to creating Captain Kirk. And after that year, once we got good at it, we showed William Shatner with the knowledge that if he was not okay with this, if he didn't like it, it was all going to go away. All of that work, gone. Because it's not, it's Captain Kirk, it's his. Yeah. He liked it. Oh. And so then we got to work on this film, and when it released, and people seemed to like it, it was a year and a half of anxiety that was now firmly off my shoulders, because I was so scared that I was going to break this. But we are at like 26 million views at this point.
Wow.
It's unlisted on YouTube. It's called Unification, and it picks up after generations. So
that's very cool.
Yeah, but 26 million views, and it's an unlisted video. So we are the, it doesn't show up on anyone's. You can't even search for it. You have to go on the Otoy website to find Unification. But we made a little bit of a splash there.
What is this? I can't remember the name of the Star Trek film. The one with the whales.
Star Trek 4.
That was the Star Trek 4 one, right?
That's the one.
That's the one.
The Voyage Home.
I was working in San Francisco. This is how much I love Star Trek, but couldn't obviously remember the name. But I went to San Francisco, and there's a sort of crosswalky bit where they're looking for the nuclear vessels. And I stood there, and I took a picture of myself just there, and I was like, Mom, look. And she was like, what are you sending me? And I was like, it's Star Trek?
I believe that's the same, isn't that the same intersection of the double dumbass on you?
Yes.
Yeah.
I took time out of my schedule to stand at an intersection. I was such a dork.
God, I love those movies so much.
God, me too. Yeah, they're so bloody good. I wanted to ask you about collectibles and things like that as well. Do you still nerd out over collectibles and things like that?
I wish I didn't. My house is growing ever smaller.
Yes, I had an inkling from my research.
Well, it's tough because when you work on some of these things, people will give you something for free, like here, we're giving you Darth Vader's lightsaber hilt, and you're like, it looks really lonely up there by itself. Doesn't it need to have a helmet? Oh, there, the Vader helmet, that's cool. But what about Luke's lightsaber, which was really Vader's at one point? And the next thing you know, your whole house explodes into Trek and Star Wars collectibles.
Anything you're like most proud of in terms of your collections?
I have a lot of things that I'm pretty proud of. I have a concept of the Revenge of the Sith poster that Drew Struzan did. That was one of the concepts that George did not go with, but it's a beautiful, big pencil, colored pencil sketch of what that version of the poster might have been like. The original Drew Struzan, so that's cool. And got a lot of stuff. A lot of cool
what
things.
is it about because when I moved over from London to LA not so long ago, I had to get rid of a lot of stuff, as you can imagine. Yeah, that would be hard. What could you get rid of, do you think, if you were making a big move?
I mean, I guess everything, but no, none of it. That's not going to happen. No.
It's painful. My comics were the most painful thing.
Ouch.
And vinyl. The vinyl was really difficult.
No way. No way.
Some stuff it remains in my father's shop in Glasgow. He's like,
good.
He's like, what am I doing with this? It's in the noodle room, Dad. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. You're going to be all right.
Yeah.
What is it about being a completionist, though? Have you always been like that since you were a kid?
I don't know that I always was like that. It's just that I just didn't have the fortitude to say no to cool free stuff.
That's true.
And then you spend your paycheck on the things that you're making. It's a little weird.
I wanted to talk about things you're making, which we're going to talk about shortly, and then do some fan questions. Battlestar Galactica. Any Battlestar fans here? My God, what
Great
a
show.
series! But I heard you were a fan before you went into audition. You were like, look out for part.
I was the only one who pronounced Caprica right. That's what Ron Moore told me. He's like, your audition was interesting because you said all the words right. I'm like, well,
Nice.
Crashdown was supposed to be the comic relief of that series. And then I think they discovered that we don't need this series to be very funny. But then they gave me other cool stuff to do in season 2. But it was fascinating because I loved the original series, and I thought that their miniseries was incredible. So I asked for an audition. I said, get me an audition for Battlestar. I had no resume or anything like that at the time. And they came back with something to audition for. I'm like, what? And then I got the part. I'm like, what? Get me on that show. Okay, what? Oh no, what do I do now? Oh, geez, I'm gonna ruin the show. Cool, nice.
I love that show so much. I bought this book called The Philosophy of Battlestar Galactica, and it was wonderful. Have you always pursued projects you love? Is that your modum operandi?
I would say, I guess in some way pursued, but weirdly they have found me. The projects that I've loved most have found me, weirdly.
Okay.
I don't know why it's worked out.
Do you think
like
that's
that.
luck, or you think you're
luck?
Yeah?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely, absolutely. I got into Star Wars because my buddy David, who worked at LucasArts at the time, he snuck my headshot and put it in the pile for the auditions for Force Unleashed.
Oh.
If that's not lucky, I don't know what lucky is. That your buddy's like, I think you should play Starkiller. I'm like, what's Starkiller? He's Darth Vader's secret apprentice. What? No, shut up. Give me your headshot. And he just does a little commando raid and just, and then runs. And David and I, because of that, have been working together almost every year for 17 years.
Wow.
You know, David Collins, who also went on to play Proxy in the Force Unleashed, and David and I continuously work on Star Wars stuff because of that.
Wow, that moment of just, that's incredible.
Of someone pulling some larceny, yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell all my friends this story.
Well, and I
try and book more work.
I got him back. Here's another little Star Wars, Star Trek story. So I was playing a VR game called Star Trek Bridge Crew. Do you guys know about this?
Yes.
Where you put on a VR helmet and you're on the bridge of a Federation starship. And I had Matt Wood, AKA Skywalker Sound Genius. He's also General Grievous and all the battle droids. He's sitting right there in the engineering station. I've got Dave Acord, sound designer for Andor Season 2. He's on helm. Who's on? Oh God, I'm sorry. I'm sick right. I'm getting over a cold, so my memory isn't that good. But we had a whole Skywalker Sound crew on the bridge of a starship, and I was in the captain's chair and giving ridiculous orders like, bring it around to Mark 5 on my mark. Now, fire. Get us out of here, Mr. Scott. All this stuff. And so we were talking, and at some point they were talking about all this Star Wars live action that was coming. This is before Mandalorian. And they were all talking. They're like, how are we going to cover all of this stuff? We're going to be making more Star Wars than we've ever made. We do not have enough personnel who know this stuff. We have to train up people. What are we going to do? And I'm like, guys, I know what you're going to do. They're like, we're going to hire David Collins. I'm like, you're going to hire David Collins. He's the guy who snuck the headshot in the pile. He did crime for me. And so now you're going to do this for him. And they're like, well, we don't know him that well. I'm like, you will know him. And you will thank me that I made you hire this guy. You will thank me for this. And a year and a half hence, Matt Wood comes to me and he says, thank you so much for David Collins. He is just absolutely, he's killing it. He's amazing. He's one of us. I'm like, he's always been one of us. He's been working at LucasArts. He was, he always wanted his chance at Skywalker Sound, but he worked at LucasArts and he got to know this stuff so well. So David has been, like he was the sound soup on Skeleton Crew, which sounded amazing.
Wow.
So anyway.
I like that you pay back. I like
That's
that.
right.
I've got some fun questions to get to know you a little better. And then we're going to hand it to fan questions in a moment. So, are you ready?
Ready.
Okay, so your walk-on theme song at every panel, what would that be? If you had like a wrestler would walk on to music. If you had to walk on to a panel with any music, any band, anything, what would it be? Here we go.
Oh my God.
Sorry, I've stumped him now. Hey, you guys, you know what? The fun questions are always the hardest ones.
I'll do it. All right. It would be the dancing Orion slave girl music. The yeah na 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 no 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 yeah na 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 na. You know what I'm talking about? Or a close second. Combat music, Captain Kirk, Okay.
Okay.
Or the fast version.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be my walk-on music. Yeah.
You know what, Sam? I'm going to remember that next time we do a panel. Just, it could happen.
I used to go to the Star Trek art department over at Paramount because I had a friend in that art department. I had a few friends in that art department. Doug Drexler, Jim Vanover Sr. And I would go in, I'd walk in. They knew I was walking in because I'd be scatting Star Trek music. I'd go, you know.
Witwer's in the hallway. He's in the
like,
hallway.
oh shit, he's here.
He's here. He's in the hallway.
Funny enough, some of those guys worked on our short film, the Unification short film, years later. So I'm dressed as Captain Kirk. I'm like, didn't think the scatting guy would get this far, did you? Yeah. Yeah. Take your station, Mr. Drexler.
Look at me now. Okay, you can only take 3 movies, okay, and 3 games, video games, to a space station for 1 year. What are they? 3 movies and 3 video games.
Okay, Star Wars trilogy, original trilogy. No problem there. Easy.
Okay.
The games: Thief: The Dark Project, Cyberpunk 2077, and Yar's Revenge.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah.
I've not played Cyberpunk yet. I've downloaded it.
Oh, come on. Guys, Cyberpunk 2077. You guys played it? It's so good.
I've not played it yet. My lovely friend Jane, who was on the Hitman panel earlier, she's in that game.
Oh, Hitman. Oh, my God. I love those games.
Yes.
Love those games.
Yeah, go say hi to Jane.
Agent 47.
Oh, okay. That's what I'm replaying right now, Hitman.
You know what I just realized, just doing that guy's voice? He's got a little bit of original Boba Fett. Like pre-Temuera Morrison Boba Fett, when he was like, what if he doesn't survive? He's worth a lot to me. You know, that, it sort of sounds like Agent 47.
Oh, yeah, it does a little bit. Okay, if fans want to get to know the real Sam, which of your characters should they watch first?
I mean, I don't know if it's the real me, but Being Human has a lot of, yeah. Thank you. Yeah, Being Human has a lot of my sense of humor in it. Because my character was very serious. But the things that would happen to my character were very funny for the audience, not funny for my character. But when we were making it, we were obviously all in on the joke, which we really enjoyed.
Okay, a couple more. What's one thing, big or small, that's bringing you joy right now?
I can't talk about it.
Oh!
But it's bringing me a lot of joy.
Is it a work thing?
It's a work thing.
Okay,
Yeah.
say no more. Say no more. And finally, what advice would you give 10-year-old Sam? He's standing here right now, in front of you right now. What would you say to him?
I'd say, I know it sounds weird, man, but just keep doing what you're doing. Because when I was a kid, look, I didn't grow up in a place where people really understood what to do with me. Meaning, I was not maybe the strongest student, but I spent all of my time doing things that I would later do for a living. So, on one hand, I grew up thinking that I was some sort of mess up or loser in a way. But then when I reevaluated around the pandemic, we all had time to think a lot. And I was like, well, wait, but what was I doing when I wasn't doing what I was supposed to be doing? I was supposed to be doing schoolwork and this and that. I'm like, well, I was doing school plays. I was writing music with my friends and recording it. I was writing sketches and shooting them with my friends. I was, I was playing around with computer technology. I was checking out video games. I mean, I didn't drink, I didn't do drugs. I was just very interested in a lot of things that kept me away from schoolwork. And all of those things, including even the technological things, because there's things I do on certain shows which are purely technical that some of them I'm not even credited for, but I have a certain facility with certain computer stuff, and I do weird stuff. I've done this for Star Wars and stuff like that. All of these things are really interesting to me. And that's what I've always been doing since I was a little kid. So I would say to the little kid, be like, don't feel too bad about doing what you're doing, because it's not going to be, it'll make sense eventually.
Yeah, I like that. I feel sad that we're told to conform to what we should be doing. And, when you don't, look where you can get.
Well, and the thing is that, the whole school thing is certainly a very good bet. Yeah. If you do well in school, you're opening up opportunities for yourself. So unfortunately, those are opportunities I did not open for myself. Yeah. But my experience with other things I did open some doors for myself that I would not be aware of until some 20 years later. You know.
Thank you, Sam. A round of applause for this first part of the panel, please. Okay. Now, my lovely friends, we're going to hand it out to the floor. So, you know the drill. There's a mic right here. I can see Teddy going, oh, I got to get up there. I got to get up here, Teddy. Everyone stand behind Teddy and please be mindful of one another as well. Hello, Teddy.
I keep asking all these questions. Sam, huge fan of yours. Starting all the way back when I was a kid with Being Human was actually my first exposure to you. And going into Star Wars The Force Unleashed. You've been a hugely influential person to me as a voice actor, me studying from the Stella Adler method at school. My question to you was, I wanted to know, who was your teacher and what method or methods were you trained on?
Well, I went to Juilliard for 2 years, and then I was invited to leave. And that was an invitation. I took them up on that invitation. But you know, the teacher that jumps to mind that made the biggest difference in terms, well, let me just, actually there's a few of them. Beth Barber was my high school drama teacher, and she was the first one to ever say to me, hey, you know, there could be a career in this for you. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And I grew up in a suburb of Chicago, so none of that made any sense to me. But I get, apparently, yes, it apparently made sense to her, and it planted a seed. And she was, you know, I did a lot of plays with her in high school. Incredible woman, so supportive, and also great at dressing me down when I needed it, which she did. Yeah. She definitely, in front of people, crushed me when I was doing something I really shouldn't have been doing. You know what I mean? She was very good at the tough love, but she was also good at the love. Incredible. Beth Barber, wonderful woman. Another guy, Jim Shellard, was always, he was the student activities director. He really looked after me at that high school. Even though my grades weren't so good, he and others like Beth Barber were like, that's not really what he's for, though. Then when I went to Juilliard, the guy that I think about the most from there is a guy named Ralph Zito, who was my voice and speech teacher. But Ralph was also an actor, and he had a lot to give, not just with making me aware of how my voice and speech mechanisms worked, but also just what it meant to have these types of jobs and the responsibility that you had to take on to do these You know, his whole point of view was, any job you take, you better realize how lucky you are to have it, and you better honor that luck by giving it everything you have. And he really drilled that into us. And also, if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be able to manipulate my voice the way that I've learned to do, because he laid that foundation for me. So Ralph Zito, and also Ralph Zito, you know, we're all at the Juilliard School and everything, we're all expected to talk like this with standard American stage speech. So you'd be in class and Ralph Zito would be talking like this, and then at some point you'd pick up with him after class and you'd say, Ralph, I'd say, Ralph, what's happening with the station? And he goes, well, Mr. Witwer, the Jem'Hadar have taken over the station, and Captain Sisko is trying to get back. I don't know if I can get a VHS tape to you so you can catch up on the episodes, but like, he was a huge Star Trek guy. and we would call him in the class and be like, Emperor Zito, what is your commandment today? He goes, yes, Mr. Witwer, yes, now you understand. At the end, only now do you understand. So you can see how Ralph Zito speaking like this led to me speaking like this, you know. Yeah. So he, you know, not only did he instill a certain amount of discipline that he planted in a very undisciplined mind at some point, but he was also a fan of this stuff. So the message I got from him was, hey, it's okay. It's okay to be a fan of this stuff. And it's okay to bring everything you have, all of your craft, everything you've learned, to these things to make them as good as you could try to make them. Yeah. So.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Terry. Hello, my friend. What is your name and what's your question?
Hi, my name's Val. Actually, my question kind of pairs off of what you were just saying. Every time I see a clip of you in like an interview and you talk about when you get to like show off your nerddom and kind of shape the role you're doing, what is your favorite moment when you got to do that? Like a story of when you got to show off.
Show off my nerddom.
To help shape a character.
Well, okay, maybe it was the first day we ever did Darth Maul, because yeah, we were terrified or at least I'll speak. I was terrified. Maybe Dave wasn't terrified, but he was certainly concerned. He was concerned enough to where when he asked me to do the role, he didn't say, "Hey Sam, would you like to play Darth Maul?" No, he just said I got a call from Lucasfilm, and I was told there's a call coming in for you today. Just be ready to take it. I'm like, what? So then I was driving my car, and the call came in. Hey, Dave Filoni from Lucasfilm is calling, and I'm like, so I pulled my car over, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be prepared for this. What's going on? And then it's like, hey Sam, it's Dave. Hey Dave, what's happening? Because we just did the Mortis thing together, the Son of Mortis, those 3 episodes. And he's like, so listen, I'm just gonna cut to it. I need Darth Maul, can you do it? And I'm like,
Sure.
here, I'll do the Captain Kirk version. I need Darth Maul, can you do it? You know, and I remember, I'll never forget his wording. I need Darth Maul, can you do it? He was asking me, I felt very strongly he was asking me, are you the right guy for this role? You have to be honest with me. Are you the wrong guy? I can't afford to get this wrong. Can you do this? And I knew in that moment, no, of course I can't do that. But I found my mouth going, yep, no problem, man. I got this. Don't you worry about that. I could do it right now. I just don't feel like it. And so then fast forward a few months later, and we have now been talking over and over and over again, having these conversations. I was shooting Being Human at the time, but we would make these time to have these multi-hour conversations about the character, where we just sit around and talk about who we thought he should be. So then the first day, I'm there in the room, and it's Spider-Maul stuff with him saying all that crazy stuff. And this is the first taste that Lucasfilm is going to get of who Darth Maul is going to be. And so, and the script didn't say what he was saying. So I brought in these pages of notes of things he could say. Handwritten, scrawled in a very disturbed handwriting. And so I did it, went off for about a minute going crazy, monologues, laughing, crying, all this stuff. And then they cut, and they're all behind glass, and there's a lot of them back there. And they cut, and I'm standing there, and 10 seconds goes by, then 20, then 30, then 40 seconds goes by, then 50. I'm just standing there, and they're having a conversation, and I'm like, well, that went badly, didn't it? Holy, they're all trying to figure out, how do you tell this guy to not do what he just did? How do we save this, right? And then Dave spots me standing there like an idiot. He's like, hits the talkback button. Sorry about the wait, Sam. We're just discussing my infinite wisdom in giving you this role. And then, and so I'm like, oh, so you think my weird nerd ideas about who Darth Maul is good for you? Well, that's a good sign, I guess, because I'm already here. So.
Thank you for that question.
Thank you for your answer.
Thank you. Hello, friend. Right into the mic. What's your name and question?
So, hi, my name is Rick. I'm a game developer. I actually run a local studio called Robot Studios. So I'm actually here on behalf of my whole dev team, and we're all huge, huge fans of you. And all of your work has been incredibly influential to us. So this is a perfect segue off of that last bit. But my question for you is, for all of the voice actors that I'm, associated with and here representing, who are fairly new to the industry, your reputation kind of precedes you as being such a passionate fan of all of the IPs and franchises that you've worked with. What advice could you give for those individuals who don't really come from like the same passionate, nerdy background, who might be like more kind of traditional and mainstream, to kind of interact with a role and really like make it their own, especially if they don't have that same nerddom passion?
Yeah, for me, it's, the nerddom definitely helps. But really what it's about is this. What does it mean to you? How can you relate it to something that you do know very well? And everyone knows their lives very well. You're all experts in what your experience is. You've got to find something that you can relate to that is that, and then bring everything you have from that experience. I mean, for me, the whole thing with science fiction and all that stuff is, what are you really saying? Star Trek. You got the dudes with the half black and half white face. What are they and they're, these dudes with they're black on one side, white on the other, are really, really mad at a dude who's white on this side and black on this side, and they're really mad at him. What are they saying there? Oh, this is a racism story. Oh, Okay, so if you can relate any of these stories back to something that means something to you and say, no, the story we're telling, yes, it's werewolves or it's, green men from Mars, but it's actually really this very important thing that's very important to me. That's the story I'm going to tell with this. And that's kind of always how I approach all these things. What are we really saying? What is the story underneath the story? Because it's never really about aliens and spaceships. It's about something that we deal with. So that's how I think you do it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Hello, my friend. Into the mic. What's your name and question?
Kade. Kade. I was, wondering, is there a difference between, because Small had fight scenes in season 4 and season 5, but then those were animated, but then in season 7, Ray Park with the motel. But there are differences in your voice performance for those, in between those two scenarios?
What is there a difference in the voice performance? For me, it's you have to make sure that you are moving when that microphone is on you, because you can hear in your voice if you're actively moving. The worst thing is in an animated thing or a video game, characters just running, and they're running. They're like, "Hey, we have to get out of here." It's terrible. You need to go. So we got to get out of here. You have to have a sense of that movement. In fact, in Force Unleashed, there's a line that me and David always call out where we hadn't learned that lesson yet, where you're on Raxus Prime and you're fighting all these droids that are bubbling up from the garbage, and Proxy goes, I'm not reading any power signatures on those droids. I think they may be powered by, and I go, the Force. But my character's like, bam, bam, he's fighting and stuff like that. He's like, the Force. And we're like, and we didn't have time to redo it, unfortunately. So we always point at that as like, that's what not to do. So don't do it like that. Move your body so you can feel that tension, So with Ray doing the fight scenes, oh yeah, you better believe I felt motivated to move my body to do Ray's work justice.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Hello, you look amazing. What's your name and question?
Thank you. My name is Austin, and I had a question that was involving Force Unleashed and Starkiller, because he's my favorite of all your people you've done. He was my initial, love for anti-villains and people that weren't initially the heroes. All my cosplays fall under that line. So when it comes to Starkiller, what was your favorite scene that you've done for him, or line?
I mean, I loved all of them. I was a big fan. I don't know why I'm thinking of this, but I kind of loved the whole, you agreed to stay away. And Vader goes, I lied. Kills me every time. There were some really funny lines in there. I'll never forget the Emperor, because that was the first time I had ever done the Emperor in that, which was, really, again, it got my feet wet in voice acting. But I'll never forget the line, because I thought it was hilarious. He goes, the Emperor's got all of his enemies arrayed before him, and he's just sitting in his chair, and he's got all of the guys he wants dead all before him, and he goes, you are all traitors to the Empire. You will be interrogated, tortured. You will give me the names of your friends and your allies, and then you will die. And I just thought that was hilarious, the Emperor's got a real good sense of humor when things are going his way, not unlike his apprentice Darth Maul, who has a great sense of humor if things are going the way he wants,
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Hello, my friend. Right up to the mic. What's your name?
Hello. Oh, it's not okay. My name is Matthew, and I grew up with the Clone Wars growing up, and so I was sad when it was stopped, but then I was real excited for season 7, and I really enjoyed season 7. So my question is, how did you feel when you were offered season 7 to come back?
Well, I found out about it before I was supposed to. Look, I get into, I pull some stuff. And here's what I pulled. Dave invited me to lunch. Him and his wife invited me to lunch one day. And I'd been hearing some weird stuff. There was someone over, because I have a lot of friends at Lucasfilm. And I remember a friend of mine said, hey, what's the deal with more Star Wars Rebels? I'm like, there is no more Star Wars Rebels. Dave invited me to the last record. It's done. The show's over. And he's like, okay, I just saw budgeted out more Star Wars Rebels. Do you have any idea what I'm going to be working on here? And I'm like, because he thought I would know. And I'm like, I don't know. What the hell? So then I had a suspicion. And I was like, Dave never, ever would tell me what happened during the Siege of Mandalore. Why? Why wouldn't he tell me? Because we were going to do something called the Siege of Mandalore. And I would say, Dave, what happened to the Siege of Mandalore? Yeah, no, I'm not going to tell you. But then we're doing Star Wars Rebels, which takes place 15 years after the Siege of Mandalore. And Dave knows that as actors, we need to know all of the information so we know how to deliver the performance. And now here I am as an older Darth Maul dealing with Ahsoka Tano, and I'm referring to Ahsoka like I know her. And I'm like, Dave, to the best of my knowledge, I never met Ahsoka Tano. Did we maybe meet in the Siege of Mandalore? And he's like, oh, interesting. And I'm like, no, dude, seriously though, because if I'm going to perform this correctly, you kind of have to now tell me what happened in the Siege of Mandalore, don't you? And he's like, oh, okay, I see what you're saying. Because what you're saying is that I know what happened and Darth Maul knows what happened, but you don't know and I'm not going to tell you. And I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. So then finally later, people are saying, what's up with more Star Wars Rebels? Why are we looking at a budget for Star Wars Rebels? And I'm like, okay, I'm going to get to the bottom of this. So I go to this lunch with Dave and his wife. This is Dave. This is his wife. He's here, she's here. And here's my food. And I've got this heavy Cro-Magnon brow, right? So I can hide my eyes. You see this? I can also give you Starkiller face. But I can hide my eyes if I need to. And what you can't see is, because it's sort of angled, I can look up. I can look out through the corners and see stuff. So here's my food, and I say the following. I say, man, you know what's sad is wouldn't it be nice if we could just go back and, finish the Clone Wars? As I'm looking very solemnly down at my food, all sad. But the whole time, I'm secretly looking directly at Anne. Not Dave, Anne. And this is what I see. Man, it's too bad that we couldn't just go back and finish the Clone Wars. And at that point, I'm like, oh, we're going back to finish the Clone Wars. I didn't know that. So that's how I found out, and I was very happy.
I love that. Thank you. Very realistic reenactment.
Thank you.
Love that.
Thank you.
Hello, my friend. Name and question.
My name is Jack. Sam, you probably don't recognize me, but we met a few years ago at Toy Temple in Tempe, Arizona. I was wearing a red Rick and Morty shirt. And so I have two questions. My first one is, if Starkiller were ever to be in like any live action format, would you want to return to the character, or do you think somebody else should play him?
Nobody else should play him. You know what's funny is also this company I work with that I did the Star Trek thing with, we have a version of me de-aged to that age. So I could pull it out in 5 seconds and be literally the 19-year-old Starkiller.
So yeah, my second question is, have you ever read the book Maul Lockdown? If so, do you think that in the potential future Darth Maul project, if that could be maybe like more like darker and gorier like that book was?
I got interrupted, but I definitely read part of Lockdown. He likes teeth, that guy. He keeps that guy's tooth and all that stuff. I think the character is interesting enough to where you could do a lot of things with Darth Maul that would be surprising. Will we ever go back to him? Who knows? But I think if you did, there's all kinds of questions that I've had about the character that I would want to explore, like some very specific questions. I'm not going to tell you what in case we ever do it, but I think you could make a hell of a project about that guy.
Thank you so much, my friend. We are slowly running out of time, so I'm going to ask that we keep it to one short question each, if that's okay. Right, you ready?
Do it.
Name.
Okay, hi. My name is Joaquin, and I have like two games of Force Unleashed, both 1 and 2. Here's my question. Which endings do you prefer, the good ending or the bad ending?
I like the good ending. I'm a little bit of an optimist. I think he, tries to go out helping people. I'd like to think that.
Oh, well.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh. Well, I mean, it's to each his own, man. I mean,
Oh, no,
Hot Toys agrees with you. They came out with the Dark Side Star Killer recently, so.
I know. I'm just a huge fan of the dark side Star Killer, because the armor, the claws, the lightsabers,
Hot Toys just came out with an incredible version of that. Yeah, so they don't agree with me either. Yeah.
Thank you for your question, my friend. Thank you so much. Thank you. Hello, my love. Name and question.
My name is Fernando. So your breakdown of the battle between Kenobi and Darth Maul was amazing. I didn't even catch some of that, how he changed his stance to like kind of throw Maul off his game. So my question to you is, does Sam have any lightsaber skills? Is all theoretical?
Oh, my lightsaber skills are very limited. I can sort of do the spin and sort of do the behind the back Hayden thing, kind of, but that's about as far as it goes. I've never actually been in a lightsaber fight in my life. I know.
Okay, well that's on door.
Yeah, I mean, I've done a little bit. I've had some people help me a little bit here and there.
It's hard. I had to do something for the BBC, and it's difficult. It's really hard.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I've had a little bit of training. That's it.
Thank you, my friend. Hello, my love. You look great. What's your name?
My name's Benny Coloma. I just want to ask a quick question. What's your least favorite role you've done over the years?
I can't answer that question, but I will.
Hint?
I can't answer that question, but I will say this. To this day, I don't know why the guy jumped out the window. Some people know what that is. I'm going to leave you with that. You can do a little research and infer what you will. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Hello, dear. What's your name?
I'm Liesel. I was just wondering, obviously you know the lore of Star Wars and Darth Maul. Are there any storylines that didn't get to air that you would like to see?
For Darth Maul? Oh, yes. Yeah. I've read scripts and stuff of things that we were going to do, and they were really, really good. In terms of that kind of thing, I suppose there's always an opportunity. We'll see. Yeah.
Thank you.
Really good stuff, though. I mean, mind-blowingly great scripts.
Hello there, right up to the mic. And what's your name?
Hi, my name is Faith, and my favorite piece of media that I've seen you in is Days Gone, which I don't think it's enough love and attention. And so just in spirit of the remaster coming out later this month, I just wanted to see if you had any quick fun little story fact or anything from your time making that.
Well, Jim and Jason were here at the con. Jason Spizak and Jim Peary were also in Days Gone, and they were fantastic. I love that project. I love that project. And I think Jim and Jason will tell you, it was a very interesting set because when we shot that, and we shot it over 4 years, and I mean, me and John Garvin would go toe-to-toe, and I don't often get into arguments with directors on projects, but me and John Garvin went toe-to-toe on more than one occasion. And what was fascinating about John Garvin is every debate or argument you had with him, you just went, oh my God, this guy has his bases covered. Because he had proper answers for everything. And I came to just respect that guy so much and his writing, and I adore that project. And I adore John. I think John made that very, very special. Days Gone, I'm so glad it's coming out again. Remaster on the 25th. Days Gone is back for everything, so I love it.
Thank you, my friend. Hello there. You're going to crouch down a little bit. And what's your name and question?
My name's Jacob. Once again, like somebody said, first thing I saw you was Being Human, big fan, followed by Star Wars. I also had a Days Gone follow-up. Big fan of Days Gone as well. What sort of apocalyptic movies or books were you into that might have inspired you for the role of Deacon?
Wow, I don't know if I was thinking a lot about apocalyptic stuff. I mean, I'm a big Mad Max fan, but the thing that we did with Days Gone that I think hadn't really been done is, like in video games, like you're playing a video game character and the character goes, "What's this? It looks like a clue. I'll hold on to it." You know what I mean? The character is not actually saying that, but he's saying it in his inner monologue to himself. Maybe I should go right, you know, that type of thing. So me and John, I was like, John, let's have Deacon actually speak everything that he's saying. Like that, if you hear Deacon's voice, the idea is he's actually saying this stuff. So he's talking to himself the entire time. And John agreed because we were like, how realistic can we make this? Like, because if you were in that world, you would be having huge conversations with yourself at every opportunity because you're so isolated, you're so lonely, and you're on the brink of losing your mind at any moment. So you would be talking to yourself to try to maintain your sanity. And that, I think, was the biggest thing that we brought to the table, which, by the way, the reviewers didn't like at the time, but then when COVID happened, suddenly no one gave me crap for it because everyone started talking to themselves. But up until they're like, I don't get it. Why is this guy talking to himself all the time? And then suddenly COVID and they're all talking to themselves. So.
Thank you, my dear. Hello, come on up. Hello, what's your name?
My name is Liz. My question starts with a story. My favorite story from behind the scenes from Clone Wars is one that you told where, I believe it was the Mortis arc, you had to correct Dave Filoni.
Yeah.
Because he had Anakin say that he wished that Padme had.
I have a wife. I'd like you to meet her is what, yeah.
Yeah, and so I believe it was actually Epstein who said, I've never seen anybody out-nerd Dave. Have there been any other moments where you were able to out-nerd Dave or anybody else?
There were many moments where I tried, again, and failed. As I'd say, what about this? And he's like, no, Sam, because the techno union, you have to understand, is pulling financially on the Trade Federation, blah, blah. Now, I could show you a chart here, how the war is you know, this and that, and you understand that the banking clan, that the whole vault is empty, Sam. So if he said that, that doesn't really jibe with that. And I'm like, I've chosen the wrong enemy. Dave is the most knowledgeable Star Wars fan I've ever dealt with. And the thing is he knew about the Padme thing. It's just that you're going so fast, anyone misses little details when they're going that fast because their minds are on other things. So what's fun about Star Wars stuff is that when you have a bunch of Star Wars fans in the room, we're all covering each other's bases. Oh, I can't say that. Why? Because of this. Oh, right. Okay, have him say that, you know. And so he has corrected me on many, many, many occasions. It's just that I like to tell the story where I won. But he has gotten me back countless times.
Thank you. Oh my goodness, we're getting through it and we're on time. So come on up. What's your name?
Hello guys. My name's Mark. Sam. So I played Star Wars Force Unleashed, like the first and the second one, 100% of it, like Xbox and the PlayStation. Would there ever be a chance for a third one? Because the second one was so short.
Yeah, we got 9 months to finish that, which was really unfortunate. But I think what's more likely is they may do a remake at some point. I think that's the more likely possibility. And I think if fans continuously sound off on the Starkiller character, that's how they know what they want or don't want to do. I mean, they've let me know over at Lucasfilm that they're aware. I did not ask them, but they made it. Should I even say this? We redid my likeness rights over at Lucasfilm because like we don't really know where that paperwork is. Would you mind redoing it? And I'm like, sure. Why? And they're like, look, this is just in case because we're very aware that character is very popular, and we'd like to know if you want to. I mean, if this is something you'd be interested in continuing on. I'm like, are you kidding me? I'd shave my head tomorrow, guys. Let's get on this. So, you know, who knows? I have definitely learned to never say never in this business, and they've let me know that they like the character, so that's good.
I mean, they recently like about to release a Funko.
The Funko, yeah.
So maybe.
Yeah, I think if you guys just keep, you know, if no one shuts up about it, then I'm in good shape.
Thank you, my friend. Last but not least, hello, my love. Come on up, don't be shy. What's your name?
Nikki, and then what is your favorite Darth Maul quote?
Yeah, there is no justice, no law, no order, except for the one that will replace it. The time of the Jedi is past. They cannot defeat Sidious, but together, you and I can. That whole thing.
Thank you. Do you have a question as well? Come
Do
on
it.
up. Why not?
Do it.
Let's go do it.
My question is more rather a statement wrapped in a question. Would you say Maul is the most like Sidious, at least upon his return to the galaxy, seeing as how he didn't really make himself known, or he tried to be more low-key about things, taking control of Mandalore and trying to rule things from the shadows instead of being out front like someone like Dooku would have been.
See, that goes with what I'd like to see from the character, because we got to a point with him, because early on, yeah, he is doing exactly as he was taught. So he is almost trying to be like his master, right? But then as time goes on, it's become clear to me how he has diverged from the Sidious vision of how that's supposed to go. So were we ever to go back to that character, that's the kind of thing that I'd like to get into, is like, how are these guys really different? What does he totally disagree with when it comes to Darth Sidious? So I think that's really interesting you say that, because that's where I would love to go with that character. Also, who are you cosplaying on? It's driving me nuts, dude. I know the character.
Actually, no character. Me and my friend came to me like a month ago. Hey, you want to cosplay at this thing? I was like, I've never done that before, but sure.
It's a little bit Kanan, a little bit.
Well, that was the inspiration for the single arm.
Yeah.
And then he saw it and he's like, dude, I wish I did that myself.
It's great. I just talked to Freddie this morning.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You look amazing. You look great.
Looks awesome.
Can we have a round of applause for the fan questions, please? The fans. You're all so sweet. My goodness, I'm so old on this chair. I'm like trying to spin round. Oh, this is the ghost of Christmas future. Sam, it has been absolutely wonderful to see you here. You'll be here for the rest of today and tomorrow, or is it just today?
Yeah, today and tomorrow.
So today and tomorrow. So people are okay to come and say hello?
No.
No, don't.
Yes.
Don't even look at me.
Sure. Yes.
Go and say hello to this lovely man. Guys, please give a huge round of applause for Sam Witwer.